Hey guys, BigDebuffs here. Today we are going to be looking at the new Season 3 tier sets that have just dropped for Restoration Shaman. We're simply going to be looking at these tier sets and giving my overall thoughts and opinions about them. If you are unfamiliar with the channel, we do Resto Shaman, Holy Paladin, Holy Priest, and Misty Monk PvP. So if you want to check out any of those videos, you can always just look on the channel. There's a lot of content for you to consume in your daily life. Now, the thing that I like about these tier sets is that they are actually going to change depending on your hero talent tree. So if you're a Farseer, your tier set bonus will be different, and if you're Totemic, they'll be different. I think that's really cool. Tier sets have undergone a lot of work throughout the years. Originally, your 2 set and 4 set were pretty direct for that spec. However, there's a time in Dragonflight where specs tier sets were so bad, or in Resto Shaman's case, bad and bugged, that people didn't even run 2 set. And that's not good. So with the War Within Season 2, they actually improved it to where everybody can compete with a 2 set by making them fairly similar for that spec. You know, with the insurance, the winning streak, the jackpot, you know, all this pretty similar stuff. And that was really good. Everybody could compete with the 2 sets, and the 4 set was the deciding factor. If you wanted to run it, cool. If you didn't, that's whatever. You still have a 2 set to work with. Now with Season 3, they're going to change depending on your hero talent tree, and I think that's really cool. This is what the tier set looks like. I think it looks pretty dope. With the Shaman tier set, it's either got to have fire, frost, lightning, earth, or water, or a wolf on it. If it doesn't have any of those 6, then it's not a good tier set. You know, that's like Shaman 101. You gotta have one of the 6 on there. Now, looking at the tier sets, we'll start with Farseer first, the 2-piece. Now, I don't know what the PvP nerf is for these tier sets. I'm just looking at these numbers face value, but I would assume that these percentage numbers would be halved in PvP. So, yeah, but I don't know. It could be different. So, Ancestor Swiftness summons an empowered ancestor for 15 seconds that deals increased damage and healing. I think that's really interesting. You have 2 ways to guarantee proc ancestors, and that's your Ancestor Swiftness and your Unleashed Life. So, getting a ancestor for 15 seconds that does more healing and damage, I think that's pretty good. I wonder if we'll eventually see a build change with the creative minds of Restoration Shaman players, but I'll talk about that when I go over the 4 set. The 4 set here is actually kind of interesting. So, Ancestral Swiftness reduces the cast time of your spells, the mana cost of your spells, and increases the recharge rate of Lava Burst and Riptide. So the cast time is pretty good for obviously the healing waves. You know, bombing out more healing waves is always good, as that's the bread and butter of Farseer Resto Shaman. Now this says cast time, so it does not specify damage or healing spells. So I would assume this would affect, you know, Lava Burst casts, Hex as well. So I think that'll be pretty cool. The mana cost is probably the best part, because for some reason the War Within Resto Shaman mana has been the biggest thorn in our side. And it's kind of interesting to see, because historically Resto Shaman hasn't really had any issues with mana. So to experience all these mana problems throughout the War Within is kind of troubling. So every 30 seconds, the Ancestral Swiftness, we're going to get reduced mana cost on our spells. That's a pretty big thumbs up. The recharge rate of our Riptide will hopefully feel really good. Essentially, this will feel like we're in Preeminence Ascendance mode, just not actually in Preeminence Ascendance mode. Now, what I wanted to talk about in terms of a different build is that you have 2 options with your talent node, which is Heed My Call, which increases the duration of your ancestors by 4 seconds, or Routine Communication, which gives your Riptides a chance to proc an ancestor. Now, both are really good. I mostly run Routine Communication because I like the rotation aspect of it, because A, Riptide is my most pressed spell, obviously. And whenever you do summon an ancestor, you will reduce the cooldown of Riptide by 3 seconds. And of course, the more ancestors you have out, the more benefit you're going to get out of Whispering Waves, the more benefit you're going to get out of Hydro Bubble. So there's a lot of good stuff when it comes to proccing ancestors. Now, my thought on this is that with Heed My Call, you would have 4 extra seconds on your ancestor. So I wonder if that'll be much more vital to have a much more longer duration ancestor with the 2-set ancestor from Ancestral Swiftness. Because having an ancestor that does more healing and damage for, I would say, 19 seconds would feel pretty good. So I wonder if that will ever happen. I also wonder if we ever can drop a Nature Swiftness, because naturally with Ancestral Swiftness is obviously a different spell than Nature Swiftness. The reason why you run Nature Swiftness is because if you have it learned, you can summon an ancestor for 6 seconds. However, with this, I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't know if the ancestor will still be summoned for 15 seconds, with or without having Nature Swiftness selected. So I wonder if you could ever drop Nature Swiftness and, pick whatever other talent you can, and your 2-piece will keep its same effect. I wonder if that's possible, but again, I gotta wait until PTR is active. Coming down here for Totemic, the Totemic 2-piece. After you consume all the Whirling Element motes, your capstone talent, you cast Downpour at increased effectiveness at your Surging Totem's location. So I care very little about Downpour. You guys know this. I hate Downpour. It does less healing than a Riptide. Hits 5 targets. You can Unleash Life It to hit 7 targets, and increases the target's max health by 10%. I always feel very let down with Downpour, even in maps where this would be really good in, like Eye of the Storm, middle fights, Silver Shard Mines, where I'm getting the literal max effectiveness of Downpour. I just feel like it's just not that good. Especially if it's awkward because you're a Totemic, your Surging Totem has a much higher cooldown than Healing Rain. It's 24 seconds. So Downpour, you only get this skill every 24 seconds compared to a normal Healing Rain, which is every 8 seconds. So it's kind of interesting. But with this, consuming all your Whirling Elements, you'll cast a free Downpour at increased effectiveness as a Surging Totem's location. It's just free healing, so I can't complain with that, even if it is something like Downpour that I absolutely hate. Now the 4-set is interesting. After casting Downpour, your next Chain Heal, Healing Wave, or Healing Surge casts again at increased effectiveness. So the Downpour, I would like to assume that the 4-set will proc off of not only your actual Downpour cast from my talent tree, but also the 2-set proc of Downpour. I would like to think that it would work off of both. Now, your next Chain Heal, Healing Wave, or Healing Surge cast again is quite nice. It's just extra bit of healing. I wonder if the Chain Heal, however, if the Chain Heal will work with your Lively Totem Chain Heal. If your Lively Totem Chain Heal will benefit off of your 4-set. If that's the case, then hey, that's even freer healing. If my 4-set can benefit off of my Lively Totem Chain Heal. I mean, bro, not only do Lively Totem Chain Heals themselves heal more than your actual hard cast of Chain Heal, if it's casting again at increased effectiveness, that's a lot of Chain Heal healing. So hopefully that it works like that. If not, no biggie. But I think it should work like that. Overall, I think these are nice tier sets. Do these tier sets fix anything with Resto Shaman? Not really. We all know that Resto Shaman has a lot of problems. For me, it's just Resto Shaman being out of date, specifically with their cooldowns. Being out of date with just the pacing of the game. And this is not something that is new. This has been existent, I'd say, ever since, like, going further into BFA, and then definitely into Shadowlands up till now. But these tier sets are cool. The Farseer tier set definitely has my eye, rather than the Totemic. The Totemic seems pretty basic. But the Farseer one definitely does seem pretty cool. I really do want to know what the PvP percentages will be for mana cost, the reduced cast time, and the increased recharge rate. And seeing how potent my Ancestor Swiftness will be when summoning a much stronger Ancestor. But I'm really excited for Season 3. I'm really excited for the new 11.2 patch, and hopefully you guys are as well. And if you want to see more videos like this where I go over Holy Paladin tier set, the Holy Priest tier set, the Wizard Monk tier set, then be sure to leave a like right down below, and of course chuck or subscribe my way so you don't miss those videos.